Okay, so I think we are live now. So let's just wait to see who logged on with us. Just give it a few minutes. I see Judy Ann is live with us. See, Carol is live with us. Okay. So I'm just going to minimize the screen here. Okay. Okay, I see that Anna-Marie's live, Corette's live, and Leig's live with us. Okay, so firstly I would just like to welcome everybody to our very first Facebook Live testimonial. So excited that you guys are spending your Feel Good Friday with us today for this inspiring story for Tanya. And then if everybody can just pop in the comments where they are watching us from today, that would be awesome. So I'm just gonna share a little bit about my personal journey. So as you all know, I've lost 34 kgs in 4 months on the program, and that was about 4 years ago. So I've been able to maintain my weight since then. So for those of you who don't know my story, now you do. I did the MBS Academy not too long ago and spent some more time doing my definition on my stomach, which was very important for me. But with no further ado, I would just like to introduce Tanya's story. So Tanya started with us in May 2020. She lost an amazing, almost nearly 20 kgs until Jan this year. And then she decided she needed a little bit more, she had more goals in mind. So she wanted to lose some more weight, or did she? So when Tanya started with me, I was actually a coach on the MDS Academy. She was more focused on losing weight, but at the end of our journey, we finally were able to ditch the scale for good. And Tanya actually realized that the scale is no longer important and centimeter loss is the way of going, and also changing her whole body's composition along with toning, creating new eating habits, and obviously changing her whole mindful approach to not only just weight loss, to her body, to everything that surrounds her. So obviously I am here to guide Tanya through all her journey today. So with no further ado, I would like Tanya to tell everybody a little bit about herself and what made her decide to start with the Diet Doctor.
Hi everyone, hope everyone's having an awesome day. Well, as Lana says, my name is Tanya. I'm 44 years old and I work from home. So as you can imagine, it's very difficult being at the house all day, every day, on your own, with the fridge literally 2 meters away from my workspace. Literally, I can look at my fridge.
The hardest part.
It is the hardest part. I found that with the diet doctor, it was the only thing that worked. I had tried numerous amounts of weight loss programs, 28 days, the Weight Watchers, all these weird and wonderful things. And I found that you lose the weight, but then you move on to your own bad habits. And they slowly start creeping in. But with the diet doctor, your mindset actually changes.
Yeah. So it's not just a diet, but a lifestyle.
Yes. I mean, you do focus on the foods that you eat, and you do have to concentrate on what you eat and when you eat and how much you eat. But it's a thought process that actually changes. And when your thought process changes, then what you eat automatically changes.
Exactly.
Then you don't even think that, oh, I want a packet of chips, or oh, I want a soft drink. You think, oh, yes, I'm so lit for a glass of water or a cup of tea, because your mindset changes and you feel good when you're eating good. And that for me was the biggest thing. When I ate well, I felt amazing on the inside. And when I did have a treat day, all right, I could feel my body wasn't so happy with the treat that I wanted. You know, whether it be an ice cream or a packet of, and I made the choice to have something. But afterwards, my body's like, it's not really happy with that I chose to put in my body. So you start going back to the good habits because they make you feel good.
Exactly. And it's all about choosing the right foods. Being consistent in your weight loss journey is vital for anything that you do. Okay. And then before you started the diet doctor, what were your doubts and concerns in regards to starting a new weight loss journey?
My age. Because they always tell you, the older you get, the harder it is to lose the weight. And the quicker it will be for you to gain that weight back. Yeah. So that for me was a very, very big concern. And also the fact that I have been, with the whole COVID situation, I was forced to work from home, which is another thing because you are next to the fridge, you are next to your grocery cupboard. So those were my biggest concerns. And also, my husband loves meat. He loves anything that's white. So whether it be pasta or rice or bread, that's what he wants. And that's what you need to cook. Yeah. So for me, the roadblocks were, how am I going to make my family, who has such high metabolisms, food without having to cook separate food for myself? I mean, a woman never wants to cook 2 separate meals after she's worked hard throughout the day. You want to make one meal, and you want to make sure that everyone is happy with the meal that you make.
Yeah, so it's all about just the mindset of getting everything into place and persevering with the diet, doing your meal prepping to make sure that you don't fall off wagon, even if you need to prepare food still for the rest of the family too.
Yes.
Okay, and then obviously, how did your eating patterns also change during the process of the journey?
Well, the first thing I did was I cut out all snacks from the house. Okay, I told them for the next 2 or 3 months, I will not be buying any snacks for the house. If they want something, they must buy it themselves. Because my mindset is, if I don't buy it, I'm not going to eat it. But if I buy it, then I'm going to want to eat it.
Then you think it's for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I spend my money on it. I'm allowed to eat it, you know?
So it's like getting your mind to...
Yeah, but I didn't buy any snacks for 3 months. and I made sure that I prepped. And I found that by prepping my meals, it was so much easier, because I would say make a big pot of rice, all right, and then I would stick that in the deep freeze. So all I needed to do was cook my meat, cook my vegetables, and defrost the rice for the boys.
Yes.
Then, I mean, that's easy. Then I'm not having to make 2 or 3 meals, because say that they're only going to have chicken and rice, but I'll have the chicken and the veggies.
Yeah. So just planning ahead of time.
Exactly. And I found by prepping, it made it so much easier. And they even started loving the food. I mean, my husband, over the space of the year, dropped 6 kgs.
Oh, wow. So not only your weight loss journey, but also his weight loss journey too.
Yeah, even with all his snacking and his Coke drinking and his alcohol drinking, he still lost weight. And and now that I'm buying snacks for the house, I don't eat them anymore, because I don't feel good when I eat them.
Yeah, your body doesn't crave it anymore.
He started picking up weight. So the other day he says, yes, my love, my stomach's coming back. he says, I think you need to start getting strict with me again.
Oh, shame.
So even with himself, he realized that with healthy eating, you feel good, you have more energy, okay, and you lose the weight.
Yeah, you're actually nourishing your body.
Very true.
Awesome. And then also another thing, how did the daily exercises assist you on your weight loss journey?
Oh, yes. The daily exercises was something really amazing. I must admit, going into the winter, it is dark outside over here in the complex that I stay in. And I was very blessed to have another lady that is just down the complex from me that would walk with me in the mornings. And after my walk, I had so much energy and I felt so good, and my day just started with a bang. It was like, let's get going. I love those sweaty selfies. I miss doing the sweaty selfies. All right.
Yeah, the sweaty selfies were the best.
Yes, I tell you, because it was like, yes, I did it, and then we would try and beat our times, and you just start the day off great.
Some sense of accomplishment to start your day off with, which is excellent. Obviously, it also helps.
Go wrong.
Yeah, and it also helps with the feel-good, happy hormones to get your body moving and get everything going.
Exactly, especially if you know that you have a difficult task or a challenge that you need to face, whether it be with work or if your son is sick and you need to go to the doctor or something. You get into your own headspace when you're walking, and you can work.
It's a bit of you time.
Yes, and by the time I would finish by 6:30, and I'd be here, and I'd get in, and I'd be like, okay, Terence, let's get going. We can do this day. And you'd be like, Mom, I want to be part of your sweaty selfie,
But it's so amazing that you actually made the time to do the exercises, because normally what the clients go and they say, oh, but I don't have time to do exercise in the morning. You can make time. You can literally make time for anything. You can make time for journaling. You can make time for exercising. You can make time for yourself. If you just wake up half an hour earlier every single morning, you would be able to either do your journaling or you do your exercises. Or if you don't have time in the morning, you can obviously also do it in the evenings. I sometimes also like to do exercises in the evenings.
And then I found in the evening it was too rushed. I finished work at 5. My husband gets home and he's hungry because he's got hollow legs and
have to fill it up.
Now, okay. So I found that the afternoon was very difficult, and that's why I did it in the morning. And also, I'm a morning person. My alarm clock goes off, I switch it off, I get out of bed, and I start going. My husband's still trying to think, what on earth happened? Why all the lights on in the house?
And then another thing which I want to ask you is, what difference did the deep dive challenges make in your mindset along your weight loss journey?
I found them mentally difficult to do.
Okay. So it was challenging you.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know how to explain it. It was something like my first of all, my mind's like, no, can't do that, don't have time, excuse. And then when you sit down, you actually think, but you know what? Okay, instead of doing that, take a little bit of 5 minutes, okay, and do whatever it is that the challenge is.
Yeah, it's like your vision boards that we did, and your date yourself, where you're actually making time for yourself to do things that makes you happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like with my vision board, I started writing things down. But then because I sort of like scrolled forward in the book, and then I thought, oh, yes, a vision board. Let me start now,
Yeah.
But by the time we got to that challenge, my vision had changed.
Yeah.
All right.
And you will see when you start a weight loss journey too, like your vision in the beginning and your vision at the end is something completely different, because you have changed. Because if your vision is still the same as the beginning, then you haven't really changed in a period of time.
Yes.
But if you realize that your vision is no longer what your vision was in the beginning, then that is where the magic comes in. And it obviously also helps with one's mindset to keep to program 2.
Yes.
Is to keep on doing the deep dive challenges. Okay,
yes.
Awesome.
And I found when we were talking, I had a weight in mind. I wanted to be 57 kgs. And that was my goal, and we were going to stick to it, and I was going to get to that come hell or high water. And I found halfway through the challenge, I wasn't getting there. And it was such a roadblock for me. I'm like, come on, you can get it. You can do it.
Yeah.
Even though I was losing the centimeters, I wasn't dropping the weight because I was building muscle with the exercising and the walking and the running I was doing. Yeah. And then I remember you turned around to me and he's like, but instead of being a weight, why don't you think about being a size?
Yes.
And I went out that day and I went and I tried on. I was a 10 and I went on and I tried a size 8 and the size 8 fit. But it was like one of those, I'm a size 8 and I just don't breathe, sort of thing. And I just focused and I focused and I focused, and I think I'm about, say, a month away from actually going to go and buy those size 8s where I can put them on without feeling like I'm cutting off my blood circulation and feeling good about wearing a size 8.
And that is the whole mindset of getting past the not weighing yourself, because the number on the scale does not define you. It is your centimeter loss, your body's composition is changing, everything else is changing, specifically for you. Everything else was changing, but that last little hurdle that you needed to get over, you wanted to be under 60. But at the end of our challenge, you actually ended up, I think you were at 59.6, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
It was very close to what we started off with.
Yes,
so
I think
that was amazing. That was amazing for me. But if you actually look at your before and after picture, just for the period that we did our last leg, it was amazing to see how your body composition actually changed and how you can see your muscle, but the scale stood still. So that was amazing to see that we finally let that go.
Yeah, and I was surprised at how difficult it was not to weigh myself.
Yeah,
because it's amazing. Since you're born as a woman, okay, you're ruled by the scale. The scale will tell you if you are pretty or not. The scale will tell you if you're sexy or not. The scale will tell you if you're skinny or fat. Yeah. And for the first week when you said, okay, ladies, put your scale away, I'm like, nah, I'm going to get on that scale. Whether you tell me to or not, I'm still going to get on the scale. And then I told my husband to hide the scale. So he hid it in the cupboard somewhere. And I could still feel with the clothes that I was wearing that I was still losing the centimeters, even though I didn't know what my weight was.
Exactly. So the weight didn't bother you anymore because that wasn't your main focus anymore. The scale wasn't defining you as a person. You were actually listening to your own body, how it's feeling, and the changes that you were seeing in your body itself.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And then another thing which I wanted to ask you is, how did the Diet Doctor's products help you on your journey?
More than what I actually thought. You know, when you go into trying a product, you always have your doubts. Okay, it's just natural because you're always going to have your doubts. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? And I found, you know what, I'm just going to use them. I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to just go with the flow. And I found the collagen worked amazing because I think it was after a couple of minutes. I mean, no, not minutes. After a couple of weeks, I went and had my hair cut because I was dating myself that day.
Yes, yes.
My hairdresser was like, Tanya, what are you using? I'm like, no, I'm not using anything. She's like, your hair is thicker. Yeah. I've got very, very thin hair. And she says, your hair is thicker. So we can go shorter on the back because your scalp is not going to show. And my nail technician, all right, she's like, Tanya, we need to book you for shorter periods of time because your nails are harder and they're growing faster.
Yeah.
And that's something that I only realized that people were telling me because I've been taking the collagen. And with the craving, all right, didn't crave food, even though I can look at my fridge. I didn't think what was in the fridge, but I was eating healthy as well. Yes. So because you can have so much vegetables, all right, you are constantly full. But so you're
constantly nourishing your body.
Yes.
With healthy foods.
And then the anti-stress as well, and with the rapid loss. I felt
so the combination of them all together.
I think I told you when we had the last Zoom call with the MBS. I feel like I had this like sun inside my body, and I was just
like shining.
Shiny.
Yes.
And my whole body, like I felt like if I stood like this, okay, I had this like glow that everyone could see, and that's not gone away. I still walk around. And I just like take a deep breath and I'm like, I feel so shiny. Okay?
You just want to share it with everybody.
Yes, I just want to share it with everybody. And when I talk about, I think I drove my family and my friends mad with the MBS. Because I would say, listen, I got my whole family doing the headstand challenge. I got my whole family doing sit-ups. All right. I got my whole family doing the sun salutations. No, I mean everyone. From New Zealand to New York to Ermelo, I got everyone involved in the challenges.
You inspired everybody to
be
a healthy version of themselves. My 65-year-old
uncle was doing headstands.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, and then another question which I want to ask is, if you could give advice to the people listening today, what would your advice be before they start any weight loss journey?
You need to believe in yourself. It's a really big thing. You need to believe in yourself, and you need to have a really good support system. Whether it be your husband, and if it's not your husband, then your kids, and if it's not them, then your sister-in-law. You need to find people that will support you in your journey. And you can ask them, listen, I'm going to do this. It's going to be difficult, but I need you to support me. Will you support me? Can you support me? Yeah. And when I had my sister-in-law phoning me saying, how are you doing? You know, what are we eating today? What are we doing today? My sister in New Zealand started doing the challenge with me. And she's like, okay, what's today? What's on the menu today? What are we doing? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? You know, how are you feeling? So it's very, very good to have a support system.
Now, we also feel that it's vital to have a support system, and the community that we have inside the group is also very supportive. That's why being visible is also being accountable, and you know yourself too. If you don't post those photos, you kind of like feel that nobody else is watching. But if you post them, you are accountable for them, and you will get the support, whether it be from somebody that has been on the process, been through the process, or one of our coaches that is actually encouraging. It is vital to get in touch with us for support, as you just mentioned.
Yeah, and you need to understand that you are going to fall back. It is going to happen. We're all human. We all make mistakes. We are not robots. Okay, we're not computer systems. All right, you are going to fall back. But if you fall back, understand that you've fallen back. Accept it. Say, okay, you know what? I did this, but you know what? My next meal is another meal.
Yeah, that's what I always tell my clients is when you've actually faltered, when you've had something that you weren't supposed to do, or perhaps not did your exercises for the day, start immediately with your either your next day or in the evening, whatever. Start with your next meal, make it back on protocol. So it doesn't become a habit and then you're off the protocol. So just being consistent. If you've done something wrong, just continue on with the process. Follow the process and be consistent with it.
Yeah. And don't hate yourself because of it. I'll never forget, I think I told you I was preparing a meal and my husband was slicing the cheese for the mince.
Yes.
And I love cheese. Okay. And I picked up a piece of cheese and I started eating it while I'm doing my veggies and my salad and whatnot. And my husband turned around and he's like, it's a nice piece of cheese, eh? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, but you're not allowed cheese. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, no. He's like, it's okay, my baby. Just enjoy your cheese and then eat your salad afterwards.
No shame. And what challenges did you face during your program?
Yes, I had 6 family birthdays. Myself and my husband, okay, my mum-in-law, my cousin, my aunt, and they were all in Nelspruit having their birthdays.
Yeah.
So I would just eat what I could. I mean, obviously, if you go to a person's house and they make a meal, you need to eat what they prepare. But you can be very specific about what you eat. So if they make chicken, have the white meat. If they have a steak, then have a smaller piece of steak, but more veggies and salad. Okay. So, I mean, you can't starve yourself.
Yeah, it's more about the choices that you make. And I remember when you and I went through the whole process, it was more of like, okay, where are you going to? Do you know what the options are going to be? How are we going to get past this? Also coming back to the support side of the program. How are we going to get past this? Okay, you don't know what's going to be there when you arrive. Okay, go for, if they have this and this and this, let's work past it. If they go for this, just try and get the best option to still nourish your body and stay on protocol without falling off the wagon.
Exactly. And self-sabotage. I didn't realize how, I want to say bad, but how good I am at self-sabotaging myself. I mean, I'm a rock star at it. Well, I was a rock star at it.
You was.
I was a rock star at self-sabotaging myself because I remember that I was 62 when we started and I got down to 59. And it was the first time I'd ever been to 59. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to have 2 rusks because I'm 59.
Yes, I remember.
And then I'm like, but why? You're getting to where your goal is. So why have your rusks? You don't need it.
Yes, you were actually.
It's not necessary.
Yeah, it's not necessary for your body, and you weren't rewarding yourself because you don't reward yourself with food. You nourish your body with good food. Exactly. So I'm glad that your mindset along that has also changed and not self-sabotaging yourself anymore.
Yeah, because I think it's a very big thing for most women is self-sabotaging. You want to reward yourself because you're constantly thinking about food and what you're going to do and how you're going to prepare. You're always thinking about food, okay, whether it be preparing or what you can't and can eat. So when you want to do something to reward yourself, the first thing you think about is, oh, let me have something that I want. Whereas, you know what?
Exactly.
You've lost weight, okay? You need some sexy underwear, or go buy yourself a new pair of jeans, or reward yourself that way, which makes you feel better and will last longer than just a dark chocolate or a cup of coffee or my rusks. I love rusks. I don't buy rusks anymore in the house because I can't say no to a rusk, unfortunately.
Awesome. And then last question, how have you found the maintenance on the program? How have you been able to maintain your weight since we ended off, obviously, your weight loss journey up until now?
I've just continued eating the food that I was eating while I was on the challenge. So I cut out all white. Okay, so anything starch I cut out because I felt it made me heavy and it didn't agree with my body. And I've substituted anything white with gem squash. So instead of having the pastas and the rices and the spaghettis and the bread and whatnot, I make a gem squash and I eat whatever I'm going to eat with my gem squash. And I found that it's so much easier. I don't need to think about what I'm going to put with the food. I just make a gem squash. So for me, that was a big thing, because when you start going on the stabilizing and the maintaining of your diet, you will slip back on some things, and I didn't want to slip back too much. So I just said, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I love a gem squash. I'm going to do a gem squash with everything I eat, and it's not something I get bored with.
Yeah. And obviously the Maintenance for Life program obviously assisted you also in knowing which foods to have when and how much you're allowed to eat. Exactly. And then obviously not necessarily needing to weigh everything, but using your hand as measures. So you don't constantly keep on thinking, how much should I be eating of this? You basically already have it down in your mind when you're going anywhere or when you're preparing meals.
Yes, because I mean, you spend 56 days doing it. So for me, just to carry on doing it wasn't any different because I was really in that habit. So it's not even a habit, it's just the way I cook now.
It's just a way of life now.
Yes. And I found that the way, how I'm cooking and what I'm cooking
has changed too.
Yeah. My husband's like, the meals are brilliant. He said, you're eating so much. Because I mean, I'll sit down with a plate of, like, say, stir fry, all right, and some meat for whatever meat we're making. And he's like, that's a lot of food.
Yeah.
I said, but I'm allowed to eat it. Okay?
Yeah,
I'm not a rabbit. I am allowed to eat a lot of food.
Nourishing your body. Getting past the mindset that you need to limit the amount of food you eat and working more towards what types of food you eat and eating the right foods, then you can eat bigger amounts of that.
Yeah. I mean, when I make a salad. My husband's like, there's no way you're going to finish that. And I'm like, it's a salad. It's got tomatoes and lettuce. I mean, it's a healthy salad. Why can't I eat a big plate of salad? Yeah. Just because it's a salad doesn't mean it needs to be this small. Okay.
No, you need to know. You specifically actually need to eat more to nourish your body.
Exactly, especially if you're exercising. Because if you're exercising and you're starving yourself, then it's going to affect your concentration, and you're not going to be able to concentrate, and you're going to get headaches because you're starving yourself. Yeah. And you need to feed your body. I mean, you only get one body, so look after your body. Put the right foods in your body, and your body will be very happy with you.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your testimonial with us today, Tanya. I literally am getting goosebumps just listening to everything that you're saying and how the program has literally changed your life around. And just being able to finally get to your ideal, not weight, but your ideal look and your ideal body and your mindset. So it's so inspiring, and I'm sure you've inspired a whole lot of ladies today with your amazing weight loss journey, not only losing 20 kgs from May 2020 last year until Jan, but also changing your whole body's composition with me in May this year until now, and obviously maintaining your weight since then. So we are super, super proud of you, and thank you so much for taking the time today to share your journey and make somebody else's day amazing too.
Well, I hope so. And thank you for asking me.
It's a
been
pleasure.
really inspiring myself. It's like, okay, now I've got to get going again. And then
back in the game.
Back in the
thank
game,
you so much. Thanks so much, Tanya. And we will catch up with you shortly again.
Definitely. Bye.
Okay. Bye.